So we have the persons charged. Ken Ofori Atta, former finance minister, as well as Ernest Akori also, advisory to Ken Ofori Atta himself. Emmanuel Kofi, a former Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Reverend Amishadai Owusu as well, also same position. Isaac Krenso is a General Manager for SML. Kwejo Damoa, Member of Parliament for German South and former Commissioner Customs Division GRA. But he's not being charged as a Member of Parliament for German South or in that capacity by the role he played as a former Commissioner for the Customs Division for the Ghana Revenue Authority. And then we know what the charges formally have been, and so we're here today. And the Office of the Special Prosecutor says that he has taken this seriously. But there was a point in time, the Office of the Special Prosecutor did say, or the Special Prosecutor himself did say that officials or officialdom looked on as Ken Ofori Atta went through Terminal 3 of the Kotoka International Airport, and somebody asked on social media, and as Office of the Special Prosecutor, he couldn't also alert his allied agencies to be able to stop him. Big question there. And so far, 8 charged. We have 78 counts so far. 2 individuals among those charged at large. So we'll see how that goes. Hamza has joined us. Hamza Sohine, good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother.
Yeah, and I saw you strongly penning something on Facebook. and I was asking, what has Kennedy Agyapong done to Hamza Sohine? But I guess you're not alone. There are a lot of individuals who speak on subject matter of graft, corruption, and then efforts to be able to clamp down on the act of the vice in itself, who seem to have a certain perception about the role being played by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, whether he's cajoling or not. But he says that he's just doing right by Ghanaians, and then also the mandate he has by the office. What do you make of the charges now preferred?
Roland, good morning to my colleagues in the studio, and of course our cherished viewers out there, as well as your production team. Like you clearly indicated, I think yesterday I decided to raise a concern about the conduct of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and these concerns are not personal in nature. And there's the need for us to situate the discussions in that context. I think that it has to do with the office itself as Office of Special Prosecutor. But you see, in relation to the SML matter, I think that this is not the first time we are discussing this issue around this table. Indeed, thanks to the good works of the likes of Manasseh Azuri and some journalists from the Fourth Estate, they first brought the matter to light under the presidency of Nana Addo Akufo Addo. So it added to the litany of corruption cases under the erstwhile administration. So by 2024, I think that Ghanaians were fed up. And they knew that there was the need for us to have some measure of accountability when it comes to many of these infractions or alleged infractions as far as conduct in public offices are concerned. Roland, even before that, as a republic, we raise concerns about the nature we deal with corruption in this country. And that predates Nana Addo's presidency, and even President Mills, and of course, President Kufuor as well. So there's that general consensus, at least in principle, that there's the need for us to find an acceptable way of ensuring political accountability in this country. I want to believe that that was what led to the discussions as to whether indeed the Attorney General's office is actually truly independent or not. Many campaign promises were made at the back of that eventually led to Nana Addo Akufo Addo and the NPP proposing the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. And the cardinal arguments they canvassed to support that initiative was the issue of independence of the office. That is far from political interference or whatsoever. And I remember vividly that many of us raised the concern that the issue with this country is not about lack of institutions to deal with political corruption or corruption in public offices, but more to do with commitment on the part of all of us, especially those who are entrusted with the responsibility to lead. We argued then that the fact that you are going to create a special prosecutor will not make him immune to such political interferences, simply because you are saying so in an act of parliament. And there was the need for us to rather retool and reposition the Attorney General to be able to effectively deal with many of these cases of corruption. In any case, it was at the back of those concerns that we even set up the institutions like IOCO and BNI.
FIC.
And Financial Intelligence Commission and the like, Center, right? So, as to whether or not, indeed, we needed an office of special prosecutor, was something many of us thought that it was needless. It was coming to add to the public sector inertia that we've been dealing with as a country. But albeit, we are here today. After more than 5 years of its establishment, have we gotten to a stage where we need to take stock and actually ask ourselves the most difficult questions as to whether indeed that office was truly relevant? And there's the need for us to continue to fund that office in the name of the taxpayer. We should not run away from that discussion. And Roland, from where I sit, I still maintain that what we have done with the creation of that office is simply to obstruct the quest for accountability rather than bolster it.
Oh, really?
Clearly.
How do you come to those conclusions, Samsa Soyin?
Not long ago, we had concerns by the minister responsible for Justice and Attorney General, his deputy, the Honorable Dr. Justice Sai, about even a request, a simple request, to the Office of Special Prosecutor for him to hand over a docket in this same matter to the AG to be able to action.
Oh, but the OSP replied swiftly.
Yes. Swiftly, he told the whole nation that they needed time to give and that they were working on the docket. When at the same time, even prior to that, many were advocating that indeed it was even possible for us to bring charges against Ken Ofori Atta in absentia. He did not budge. Only for the Deputy Attorney General to make it public that, look, we've been chasing him for the docket for some time now. He's not responded. Today, suddenly, after the assurances that a docket will go, he has gone to file charges in absentia. So what happens to that docket? Is it an open admission that he has lost interest in getting Ken Ofori Atta extradited to Ghana?
Oh, even by these counts that...
Absolutely, because we need to know. His first line of action was to get him in. And when the fire came, he indicated to all of us that, look, he's working on the docket and that the docket will be given to the AG's department. What has happened? Do we need to know? Sense of accountability. And Roland, the question again we should ask is whether indeed the issue of perceived political interference has been dealt with the creation of that office. And if it has not been dealt with the creation of that office, then we need to face the hard truth as a country and begin to apply brakes and roll back that initiative. Because one, we are talking about non-interference from the political class. Remember, when Martin Hamidu resigned, somewhere in November 2020, I remember clearly that it was in the heat of the campaigns. I was somewhere around the former Minister of Finance's constituency, Dr. Amin Adam Anta, when the
That's
issue...
Karaga.
Yes, around Karaga, yeah, brilliant. Karaga constituency, when the issue of his resignation came to us. And Roland, he said one thing, and I think that there is a need for us to go back to it. The bedrock of the formation of the office had to do with non-interference. in his epistle, he indicated that the presidency had attempted to influence when he called him and demanded that he should accept a response from the Attorney General.
Hamza, what's your point?
From the Minister of Finance.
What's your point?
I'm simply telling you that the whole issue of political independence, what's the name? Non-interference, when it comes to the fight against corruption, that formed the basis for the establishment of that office, was in itself downplayed by the very president who instituted same and argued same. Because Nana Addo was the first president to interfere. So that tells you that the issue of interference goes beyond the basis that eventually led to the formation of that office. And we need to get to the roots of many of these concerns, not through the establishment of different institutions. It has to do with political ethics, responsibility, and accountability on the part of the fourth estate, especially the media. It is not through the creation of such bodies. Because whichever way you look at it, politicians will always be politicians. They will attempt to interfere.
Really?
Absolutely. It doesn't happen only in Ghana.
So politicians now are interfering?
I am telling you that politicians in the past interfered.
In the present?
Absolutely not. There's no evidence when it comes to the work of the Office of the Special Prosecutor that politicians are interfering, Roland.
I see.
And that is the reason why I am having this discussion, because if care is not taken, Ghanaians will begin. Ghanaians will begin to question even the relevance of the many existing institutions, not just the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And the burden is on this new administration, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because the issue has never been the absence or otherwise of corruption, because Ghanaians are convinced that politicians engage in corruption. And we have the institutions to fight corruption. The issue has to do with trust. Whether indeed, Roland, I beg you, give me like 2-3 minutes, I'll learn.
I'm waiting for you.
Whether indeed we have what it takes to deal with the issue decisively. But I do not have any measure of confidence in the Office of the Special Prosecutor to be able to do that. What I see is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, unfortunately, has become obstructive, even in government's quest for political accountability, as far as the last regime is concerned. He may not be doing so deliberately, but it tells you that there's a certain degree of conflict that clearly, if care is not taken, will distance this government from many of the accountability issues that we raised, and the Ghanaian people demand accountability of us. Because with what he's doing with the SML matter, I have read the charges, Roland, 78 charges, and the timing of the release of the charges. This was after his...
You mean counts?
Yes, sorry, counts, thanks for the correction. Yes, 78 counts. That has been released. And I've read it, and I was wondering, where is this coming from? 78.
He's doing his work. Because, for example, you go on Facebook, you go and write, the OSP has designed an elaborate plan to free Ken and Co. We must stop him before he becomes a liability. Then you even add an exclamation, yo.
Look at how
do you mean by that?
And I'll explain. I will respond to that. Look at how he started. In the morning, yesterday, the news broke that he had sent an invitation to the likes of Martin Pebo, Senior Martin Pebo, and TV3 to appear before him because of allegations made on this platform. And they were not just mere allegations, because Senior Martin Pebo indicated that he was going to petition for his removal. He decided to arrogate some sense of power to himself, to attempt to investigate the very allegations and the open declaration by Senior Martin Pebo that he was going to
you cannot make those conclusions.
Petition. No, I can, because it is backed by facts. That was what happened, Roland. Now, when the backlash wasn't favorable, in less than 4 or 5 hours, he decided to deflect attention with an announcement of these counts. That's one. And this is not the first time he has done that. Again, remember in his engagement with his issues with the Deputy AG, when the nation started having discussions about the relevance of that particular office and his conduct, in a matter of a day or two, He proceeded to release this same SML report, indicting many other people, attempting to deflect attention on the part of his office as far as the demands of accountability.
So do you think that was what he was doing?
I think so. I think the gentleman is simply engaged in politics and taking this nation for
So these are serious comments you're making.
These are serious comments because issues of corruption must be serious on the mind of any Ghanaian. And I think that the time has come for us to confront the politics of that institution. It was created as a political response and to score some political points. And then another than Akufo Addo. So I am not surprised that even those who head that institution have themselves assumed that political posture. And there's the need for us to say it as it is, Roland. We cannot continue on this tangent. Because what is happening is that if this gentleman goes and is not successful with the SML matter, it ties the hands of the Attorney General's office to deal with the same matter. So the question we should be asking is that what is the extent of collaboration between him and that of the AG's office? Because in any case, even his act, the Establishing Act, still makes him amenable to Article 88(4) of the 1992 Constitution, which says that some measure of authority when it comes to prosecutions must emanate from the office of the Attorney General. So these are critical questions we should ask. Since its establishment, can we boast of something substantial in terms of successes that has emanated from that office, Roland?
Okay.
Absolutely not. Right. And so we must be bold enough to have these discussions and situate it in a way that puts responsibility squarely on that office so that Ghanaians will know that this office has suddenly become obstructive, not just to them, but even to this government's agenda to ensure accountability as far as the SWAG officers were concerned.
Dr. Zato, what do you make of all this? I mean, you think they are spurious comments? For example, office established OSP, and it looks like the way the actions and then the cases have been dealt with, not even, a prosecution or a judgment, so to speak, achieved so far. And then also that interface and the comment that are coming from an outstanding member of the NDC, whose party is in government, so to speak, like Sohiyeni, making these comments, puts the institution in itself into some level of a cagey situation?
Thank you very much. Good morning again. I want to start by reaching out to my friend who is not here today, Mr. Solomon Owusu. Over the weekend, he had the 1 week anniversary for the passing of his late sister. I couldn't go because I was here, and I wish them my deepest condolences, and I hope that God Almighty will comfort them during these difficult times and make sure that may the soul of our dear sister continue to rest in perfect peace.
Our condolences to you, Solomon Owusu.
In Tumu and my community, we have a popular saying that sometimes if you want to participate, when you see people eating dog meat and you want to participate, but because of various reasons, religious or otherwise, you are not supposed to take dog meat, you say that it is the meat of a red goat. Because the moment you say it's red goat, then you are denying it of the fact that it is what? Dog meat that you participate.
So who is insinuating red goat meat?
When you sit down and then you look at this whole OSP cabal, and you begin to see interest at play. You begin to see what is called rational self-interest at play. And everybody is playing to secure and save their rational self-interest. First, I will start with the office of the OSP himself, that of himself. I personally think that bringing these charges now is an attempt by the OSP to save his ass. To save his job, to save his behind. It's not about finding people guilty.
Save what?
It is an attempt by that office to save their jobs. It has absolutely nothing to do with the prosecution of corruption. It has absolutely nothing to do with looking for justice. It is an exercise in self-preservation.
The OSP
is doing this in an attempt at self-preservation, not for justice and not to fight for corruption.
He's saving himself?
There's one thing that I looked at. I sat here and I sat there and I sat there on programs and we said these things. In this world that we are in, especially after COVID, the whole world has gone digital. We have seen multi-billion-dollar deals and contracts signed. We've seen the UN hold global changing events online. We've seen the President of the United States even sign important documents online. We've seen these things happen. And we raise these questions. Why are you insisting that Ken Ofori Atta should be here? Why?
I don't understand. Are you saying that the Office of the Special Prosecutor...
Can't you charge Ken Ofori Atta in absentia? Can't you conference him? His lawyer said, can't you conference Ken Ofori Atta and talk to him? Can't you charge him when he's not here? Can't you send, even if it means physical, can't you send some of your investigators to Washington, D.C. to sit down with this guy and talk to him? All this, no. The OSP went ahead and issued what is called a red notice alert. Ken must come here. Ken must come home.
We should do online.
All these efforts at trying to get Ken home and has been drummed home was because it was trying to extract as much political capital from the Ken issue than to try to come at justice. It was a deliberate attempt. And I believe that there were other forces, political forces, at play, insisting that or wanted to see Ken brought in and disgraced. And that disgrace then become a disgrace for Ken and his political party. I think that was it because...
Dr. Zato, who do you think, and are you insinuating, are forcing or at the background trying to make sure that Ken Ofori Atta is brought into the jurisdiction by Kweku Agyapong, the special prosecutor?
Something happened. And a red alert was issued for Ken. Despite the advices of everybody that in this day and age, you can do this same thing, that they said no. So the question I then ask is, why now? Every rational Ghanaian asking this question. Why charge the guy now? From January up to today, you told us until the guy is physically here. No. From January up to now, you were talking about habeas corpus, right? There's something called yes. All of a sudden, what happened to habeas corpus? Oh, I hope I'm not pronouncing it well. I'm not a lawyer. All of a sudden, why are you charging him right now? You have successfully done this guy. This guy says, I'm sick. You said, I don't give a damn if you are sick. The guy says, I have to do surgery. You say, I don't give a damn if you are surgery. The guy says, I'm not strong enough to come. You say, you don't give a damn. The wife gave an interview, told you the complications on medical. You said, I don't give a damn. About 2 months ago, a picture of him was shown and just to say, oh, he's chilling, but he's not coming. All this was, but you knew deep down, you could still seek justice without his presence. You knew deep down you could charge the guy without his presence. You knew deep down. So why the shenanigans? Why the shenanigans? Why were you doing this? It is what then leads me to try to understand something. I don't believe in conspiracy theories, but I now come to try to understand what. That's what I'm saying. Understand.
You don't believe in conspiracy theories,
yes. But now,
but the nexus you're drawing now are conspiracy theories.
Because I heard my brother. I saw where my brother landed.
You're making claims that individuals behind, whether they are in the jurisdiction or not, are putting pressure or conspiring with the special prosecutor, Kweku Agyapong, to prefer these charges or these counts on Ken Ofori Atta. On one hand, also, you say that we should do online, Zoom, or stream it, the interactions, so to speak, so that then you continue with the prosecutions. That's what all these are conspiracy or nexus you're drawing together. Conspiracy.
I made a point that the red alert issued was not necessary. It was completely irrelevant and necessary.
Are you a special prosecutor?
He just confirmed it. The special prosecutor himself has just confirmed it. The same office that said that until the man is here, he's not going to do something, is the same office that has now charged him online. So what does that mean? If you could charge the man online in absentia, if you could go to court without the man being here physically, why would you issue the red alert for him? That's common sense. It's not a conspiracy. You said he had to be here. Okay, the guy is not here. You've charged him. That means that all this fight, 8 months of fighting, of publicity about the man being here, was not worth it. That's the point I'm making. 2, I now begin to understand something. That's why I'm not saying, I said, look, this SML case did not start today. 1, there was an audit into the management of SMS by KPMG. KPMG came up with some referrals, so there was nothing criminal from KPMG. Secondly, the GRA themselves conducted a study. Somebody, lawyers of what's the name, SML, wrote a letter to the GRA themselves. And they asked GRA some very simple, basic questions. Did they have a contract? Did they do their work? Was the payment justified? In all these questions, GRA responded positive. Yes, 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 yes. They had a contract, they did the work, payment was justified. This is not, this is the lawyer of GRA themselves writing to the lawyers of SML saying that they had done the work and have been paid. So now we now have two institutions. We have an external audit into this that said that yes, it has been done. We have GRA internal also saying that the work has been done. Now the question I ask myself is, and this way lawyers are, you now go and charge them for not doing this. Imagine their lawyers submit these two exhibits. From where I sit, these two exhibits in and of themselves may constitute probably possible deniability. And it may lead to what? The fact that you have not proved your case beyond reasonable doubt. Because if I have a document from GRL themselves saying that I have done the work and my payment is justified, and I have another audit report from an external agency also saying that you had a legal contract that was justified. So two external reputable organizations, in fact, one being the organizations themselves. If TV3 employs me to do a job, and then later TV3 writes to say that yes, I did the job and I was paid rightly, and now you go to court. This is, I believe that it is creating the ground for them, and from what I've seen, it's still like, look, yes. So for me, it is when you now see that you begin to understand where my brother landed, that they believe that it's a conspiracy to free Ken. That's why I now believe that. That is where I believe. That one said, if you look at the chain of events.
So what do you believe? He believes that it's a conspiracy, just merry-go-round. I mean, literally. What do you believe?
What I believe is that the OSP is doing this to save his job. I'm come back to where I started.
He's saving his
job.
Okay.
I have seen very powerful people threaten to petition for his removal. One of them is Hamza Sohoyene, is a lawyer and a very powerful member of the NDC. No, I'm not saying you've petitioned. Threaten. Or say that is not it. One of them.
Not threatened.
Assets.
I have not done any of those.
Advocated.
No, I've just said.
The others.
That's why I said it was not personal.
The others, I will not mention it because they are not here. Powerful people that we know that have voices that the government will hear, listen to, have said they will petition and they will get him removed. And I think that this 360 turnaround is an attempt to say that, okay, I'm doing what you want, do it. And that is now where I now believe that the forces, and that's when I land with the force, the political forces. You saw a clash between OSP and forces, political forces. One of them is from the Attorney General's office and the OSP. We saw the clash between them. One said that I asked these documents, you didn't give me. The other one said that I gave you the document, I didn't give you. The other one said you requested, I didn't request. My question is that, or my theory, or my hypothesis is that the Attorney General won that fight. And because he won that fight, because the Attorney General won that fight, and because the Attorney General, as you were saying, that maybe has a supervisory or certain supervisory role over the OSP, you cannot come out and publicly shame or publicly call out your boss that he hasn't done something, only for your boss to say this is. Then I put all this together and I come to the conclusion that probably the days of the OSP are numbered. These last-minute charges will not save the OSP. They won't save him. What will happen is that the people who have threatened to petition having removed will use this as a basis, will see this and do it. So that's, I learned where I started. You wanted to remove the OSP, you now have excuse to do that. You wanted to eat the meat of the dog, but now you have excuses to call it red goat. Thank you.
You think that's all this is about? Dr. Inusa, it's an effective OSP, an effective SP in itself, Kennedy Agyapong, and all this merry-go-round with the Ken Ofori Atta. He believes that, well, it's just one of those things. He thinks that as well is just one of the routes to make sure that I've gone through the process as the office of the special prosecutor. The special prosecutor himself just going through this, and ultimately Ken could be free. That's his conspiracy theory as well. How do you connect?
Well, Roland, let me say a very good morning to your good self and to my colleagues in the studio. Let me take this opportunity to also commend the good works of certain police officers that ought to be acknowledged this very morning. One is COP Idi Sedu, who is the director for welfare of the Ghana Police Service. And then the other is DSP Georgina Alhassan Sabi, who is the Kotobabi divisional commander, who are doing a yeoman's job to ensure peace and security in our country, and we need to commend them this morning. Roland, hearing the statements from Dr. Zato this morning really gives me a feeling of melancholy, because if he understands what really went on in the SML deal, I'm not sure he would say that the KPMG report and the other audit report from the GRA exonerated Ken Ofori Atta.
Why not? Those are public documents.
All wrongdoings. He should prove to us. Because if you look at the audit report, right, it stated clearly breaches of our procurement laws, right? And also, if you look at the investigation done by Imani, led by Brad Simmons, it goes to tell you that SML's inclusion in that deal did not really bring any value for money. And so for Dr. Zato this morning to sit down here and defend such a scandalous scam on the people of Ghana, that over 1 billion cedis were paid to individuals for no work done. Indeed, Roland, today I know that in Ghana, if you're a timber merchant, I'm sure tomorrow you can be given contracts from what do you call it, national NCA or the Ministry of Communication to undertake certain massive projects. It is only in Ghana. If you look at the object of SML and even who created SML in the first place, the person has no relevant IT experience. The company SML was created to do timber business. If you look at the object of the company.
The initial object.
Initial object.
But according to the Companies Act, you can always alter.
Fair enough.
The object of the company.
But I'm saying that at the time and manner in which the contract was given to them, SML was a timber merchant. That is not disputed, right? They did not go through the right procurement processes, right? This contract was given through sole sourcing. As if it was not enough, when they got our downstream petroleum sector, they included Ghana's, what do you call it, cash cow, which is our exports of oil and then, what do you call it, minerals.
For revenue assurance.
Yes, 70%.
Gold and oil.
70% of Ghana's export revenue comes from oil and gold. And they gave them that chunk of it, and they were paying SML 0.75% commission to that. If you look at the data of SML today, Roland, and I have been in the IT space for a while. If you care to know, without the risk of sounding boastful, Roland, I was the first techpreneur in the Silicon Valley of China called John Guantun. Yes.
John Guantun.
John Guantun. I was the first African techpreneur in the history of the Silicon Valley of China.
What's that got to do with the SML subject?
The SML subject, if you look at the cost of their software, if I add all together, they said that a cost of, let's say, about $70 million. Roland, the software that they are using, it's like Netflix, subscribing for Netflix.
No,
and then coming to tell you that I have built Netflix.
No, you can. Have you been to the
Roland, I am telling you,
where they have their equipment?
Roland, I am telling you that the software, as it says here, okay, $25.35 million is so much for a software to monitor the whole.
By inference, you're saying it's overvalued.
It's overvalued. It's overvalued. I'm not sure SML in itself would even have the initial, what do you call it, capital of about $70 million to even start up this project. So they should save us that. We are talking about now monies of over 1 billion cedis. Today, in my village in Wale, we have a lot of schools under trees. In Dr. Zato's hometown, I'm sure he's from Zebila or Tumu. He knows very well that his people are suffering. Yes, he will come and sit down here this morning to defend such criminals.
Oh, You can make
No,
please don't take a dig at him.
Please,
relax.
No, it's not relaxed.
Please.
It's not
Dr.
relaxed.
Zato, just relax.
It's not relaxed. It's you.
No, please.
He's not defending them.
No.
He's only making
I am
his
saying
comment
that you cannot come and tell me that the audit report exonerates Ofori Atta from any wrongdoing. That there was nothing wrong, there was nothing shady, and there was no illegality in there. That is absolutely false. And it's an unpatriotic comment by Dr. Zato this morning. Listen, no, Roland, we are serious about the fight against corruption. We are serious about the fight against corruption. Corruption has deprived a lot of young kids infrastructure for education. Corruption has deprived a lot of young people of their future.
Just hold on. Your comments have elicited responses from the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We have Director in charge of Strategy who is joining us. Lawyer Sammy Darko. Good morning to you, Lawyer Sammy Darko.
Good morning. How are you and your viewers and listeners?
My good friend, I'm well.
The reason why we call into this program is that, you know, the OSC is a transparent organization. That's how the lawmaker made it. And we also think that we are fighting for the good people of Ghana, not the powerful. And so if you get the powerful trying to say misinform the public or they say things that are not accurate, then the people you are fighting for tend to go to turn against you because they've been misinformed, not that they know the truth. So I called in quickly to correct something. It's about trial in absentia and why have we charged Mr. Ofori Atta now and all the conspiracy that have been said. I think that we have said before, and if you indulge me a little, from the outset, we maintain that trial in absentia in Ghana is permissible only when a suspect or an accused person has been formally charged, duly notified, and subsequently refuses to appear before the court, or absconds while standing trial. And then we have also consistently explained that there are only two lawful mechanisms under Ghanaian law for securing the attendance of a suspect or an accused person who evades a law enforcement agency or the court. First, an investigative body such as the OSP may arrest the individual with or without a warrant, process them through the arrest, caution, and then charge procedures, and then present them before the court. The second option, the investigative body may apply to the court for a summons, which must then be served on the suspect or the accused person wherever they may be, compelling their appearance. Where the individual still refuses to return, the court may commit him or her to prison in absentia and issue a warrant for arrest. This in turn triggers the need for extradition to forcibly return that person to Ghana. And if you go under a Criminal Procedure Act, Act 30, the only instance in which a person's attendance may be dispensed with is where the case is a misdemeanor. That means the punishment for it is below 2 years. That's the only time the court may dispense with the attendance of a person. So we have explained this, that at the time when some people were saying that we should go with the summons, investigation was in progress. And that is why we needed the attendance of the person. But now, investigations are done, and we have fact charges. So it means we are going the route of summons, where the court will now issue a warrant for the person's arrest. So in all the processes, you will still need the personal attendance of the person. But in this instance, the person will have to contend with the court and not the law enforcement agency. So that's the difference. And in all the cases, you need extradition. That is why extradition is still active and alive.
I see.
So that is one of the things I wanted to clarify. And then the second one I wanted to clarify was this thing about GRE had written to SML lawyers and said they had done
Certainly.
something. It's the reason why we had to arrest the acting head of legal. And we had to also invite the Commissioner General of GRE. And I will tell you that they have admitted to a lot of things. And in the coming days, whatever that they have been instructed to go and undo, you will see them do it. So it is not true. And I think that we should allow the court to determine whether, we should allow the court or the trial facts to determine whether the evidence that we will adduce in court are sufficient or not. But in the time being, we have done a very extensive investigation. We told Ghanaians that it was going to take a while. And now that we have even charged people with about 78 counts, people are saying that it's a lot of counts and that it's an opportunity for people to escape or blah, blah. I don't even understand. So you are trying to say that if we have found evidence of a count, we should just let it go and go with about, say, 10 times.
All right.
No. We will go with all the charges that we have sufficient evidence for.
All right. Okay. Sammy, thank you very much for your intervention in the first place. But there was a substantive issue about whether you couldn't have taken this before now, maybe using the latest technology, doing it in real time, streaming, having an interaction with him in that jurisdiction whilst you're here. And then a question I wanted to ask about whether you're just using this route, ultimately coming to a conclusion, then it makes the AJ ineffective to be then making a progression on this substantive issue. And you were saying something. You wanted to make an interview. Just wait.
Yes, Roland, back to my submission. Zato here says that there was nothing wrong with the contract. The KPMG report saw a lot of the discrepancies with the procurement processes.
When she finishes, you will let me answer that because
procurement
people have mentioned my name when I was presenting.
Yes, you said the audit report didn't see any illegality.
So after
and I'm saying that
then you have your time.
No, he made a listen.
Relax.
No. You see, when you say relax like this, you're not being fair to me. When I came into this guy came here with one objective.
Dr. Inusa, he's not a guy. It's Dr. Inusa.
Why would I trend using you?
That is why
I have got my own credibility. I don't need you to trend.
Okay.
I am so.
Please put their mics off.
Why would you put my mic on when you've called me?
Put their mics off for me.
What happens when I want to talk back? Put their mics off. When people are calling my name, when you're talking, I kept quiet.
It's not true. It's not true. Again, let me establish the rules. No, let me re-establish.
Made allegations against you. Didn't interrupt.
Let me re-establish the rules, please.
No, that is how.
Please.
That is how it is here. I'm telling you the honest.
Dr. Zato.
You were here. You saw it. I didn't. Yes.
Dr. Zato. Again.
One Zato. What two Zato? Two Zato. Three Zato.
No, that was.
But you never made me to respond to the things he said.
No.
When I was talking, I didn't mention.
No, Dr. Zato.
You have to give me that respect.
Dr. Zato. Again, let me establish. You all know that we go intense, and then you have your time.
So if I didn't agree with the things you said.
Just like any form of public debate, if you have any point to rebut, you note those points down, and then when your time comes, you respond to them. All right, please. He said you should stop mentioning his name.
Well, then he should stop defending people that have done wrong. He should stop misinforming the public.
You have 2 minutes. Please inform me.
Roland,
Dr. Enusa, yes, sir.
For you to sit down here and tell me that the KPMG report didn't cite any irregularity in the contract is false. They cited that GRA engaged SML without proper approvals from the PPA. Was that a fact or that's not a fact?
In the report, yes.
It's there.
What's your point with that?
My point is that the SML deal did not give us value for money. Indeed, the issues of revenue increase is as a result of Unipass in collaboration with Ghana Link, which formed ICOMS. ICOMS was introduced by Alan Tramati. If he doesn't know, I have to tell him this morning. That contributed a chunk of the revenue from our ports, and that saw a hike in the revenues. Now, when you talk about even SML in the first place, ICOMS has a similar system as what SML has introduced. It is criminal to try and bring a similar system that already exists. There were other companies that were dealing with the NPA, that were manning the, the BDCs, the metering system for the BDCs, and even the OMCs, right, for revenue assurance. NPA had engaged a lot of companies in that regard. Yet still, Ofori Atta did not see the need, right, to try and get the data from NPA and collaborate with GRA for revenue assurance, but to introduce SML and to give them our monies free of charge. And you sit down here and you don't see anything wrong about it. I beg.
He's only sharing his opinion.
And let me tell you something.
He's entitled to his opinion, Doctor.
But that's what I'm saying. That's right. Opinions, everybody's entitled to it. But whether indeed it is legitimate, the viewers are watching. Everybody is watching.
And for the public good.
Of course.
Okay.
We are here to fight for Ghana. Roland, corruption is eroding every gain that we make in this country. It is not for nothing that I sit down this morning with a feeling of melancholy, talking about the SML deal. And for me to hear Dr. Zato say that I want to use him to trend, Dr. Zato, I have made my name overseas. Please. And let's not get
personal.
I do not need Dr. Zato to trend.
It's okay. It's okay.
He should understand.
He says that don't mention.
I do not need him to trend.
Please, Dr. Inusa.
Roland,
let's no. Let's get this.
Yes.
I shouldn't mention his name.
Yes.
So what should I call him?
In rebutting his point, please.
What should I call him? Pharaoh.
Roland.
I should call him Pharaoh.
Please. Let's bring the temperature. Look, you heard the intervention made by Sammy Darko.
Yes, but even before I respond to his intervention.
Let's do that in 4 minutes.
Yes,
okay.
Even before I respond to his intervention, it is important for me to bring some clarity to the factual situation surrounding the SML deal. I can understand the caveat Dr. Zato gave that he's not a lawyer, and so for that matter, he would not be in a position to hazard a guess informed by law, especially when it comes to the evidential value of the letters that he claims have been written by Ghana Revenue Authority and the likes. Mind you, the investigation was not centered on the likes of Ken Ofori Atta alone. Because from day one, the National Democratic Congress, even in opposition, and the journalists who conducted the investigations indicated that many of our state institutions were complicit in that particular scandal. So it went beyond just the business owners of SML and the role of the minister responsible for finance. We accepted that many of our institutions were used as conduits.
That's right.
To champion that filthy, unacceptable, corrupt
transaction.
So that is not in doubt. Again, even when Nana Danko Akufo Addo directed KPMG to do their own audit of it, they indicated the number of times that PPA had to say no to the proposals that were submitted to them, and how eventually led to a change of name in company. In any case, nobody needs an angel to descend from the high heavens to tell you that this SML deal was cooked to line the packets of the likes of Ken Ofori Atta and some known NPP people within that particular setup. And so it's not hidden. And so, Doc, let me also remind you.
He said don't mention his name.
No.
So what should we call him?
Please,
it's okay.
He knows he would have his right. This is, and let me also remind Doc that
he should maybe give us a name
even
ID
when the investigations were conducted, information has come to light that there were certain known officials of the Ghana Revenue Authority who, after spearheading the processes of GRA signing that contract, decided to resign afterwards to join SML.
That's right.
So all these issues are issues we need to be concerned about if indeed we are genuinely interested in the fight against corruption.
That's right.
Now, I can understand the frustrations of my brother.
He said don't mention his name.
I'm not mentioning his name. That's why.
But Roland, what he was named by his parents. He has a name.
It's some characteristics of Dr. Zato to be angry. That's why I was telling him that I should calm down. Just 2 days ago, everybody was praising you. People were full of praises when it comes, especially when it comes to your conduct on TV. So that's why
you said 2 days ago.
I didn't want you to muddy the waters. But you see, I can understand his frustration. You see, my brother is resisting the temptation to come across as somebody who is speaking against the principled position of the New Patriotic Party. But at the same time, he wants to demonstrate his fidelity to the corruption fight. And that's why that conflict is there. Because on one hand, he wants to be seen as a champion of anti-corruption related matters.
SP?
But in reality, he also knows that taking that position today will not inure to the benefit of his political party, the New Patriotic Party. And so that's why he's treading cautiously. If the tables were turned, and this had to do with an NDC issue, be rest assured that Dr. Zato's response would have been different. And now on the issue of the OSP, you see, Roland, I can understand Sammy Darko's fixation in attempting to more or less bring clarity in his words to the matters discussed this morning. So by that interview, has he admitted that the initial letter written to the chief of staff demanding extradition of Ken Ofori Atta was misplaced? He has given us the processes that the OSP needs to go through, including a subsequent, an eventual court order, based on which an extradition request could be made. So at the time they wrote to the chief of staff, demanding the intervention of the government to get Ken Ofori Atta extradited to Ghana, were these processes followed? What informed that decision? Did they realize after that engagement, after the referral of chief of staff of the letter to the Attorney General's office, and maybe subsequent informal engagements with the Attorney General, they then realized that so much work still needed to be done in that regard? These are questions we need to find answers to. And that is why many of us are beginning to become a little bit apprehensive when it comes to the operations of the OSP. And these are legitimate concerns. I'm a member of the National Democratic Congress.
Despite the responses from Sammy Darko.
Please, I'm a member of the NDC and I'm a member of the government. I should be overly excited that this OSP is going after the likes of Ken Ofori Atta. As far as I'm concerned, Ofori Atta's conduct already speaks of guilt. The decision to run away from this country under the guise of being sick speaks volumes of his guilt. As far as this matter is concerned, I'm clear in my mind that Ofori Atta's conduct speaks volumes of his complicity in many of these investigations. But it does not also mean that the accountability light should only be brought to bear on political office holders. It must also be seen to be active when it comes to institutions under our laws entrusted with the responsibility of expanding the frontiers of accountability and actually upholding the principle of accountability. And that is why I am worried. And I am still convinced that that office is needless, it is obstructive in nature, and it is going to make it extremely difficult for Ghanaians to begin to demand political accountability from political office holders. Because if you are not careful, at any point in time, Ghanaians vote expecting change, expecting accountability. The office of special prosecutor, who in a way is immune from political accountability, that's why I'm using my words carefully, in a way, immune from political accountability, especially when it comes to the electorate, may at any point in time interfere to make it practically impossible for governments to live up to the true expectation of the Ghanaian people in terms of the demands of accountability. And that is why I am worried. And there's the need for those of us who are concerned, especially the likes of Senior Martin Kwebu. I will support any intention on his part to bring about political accountability. I believe sincerely that that office needed not to be created. It was simply done by Nana Addo Akufo Addo and the NPP to score cheap political gains. And we all have come to realize that indeed it adds nothing to our quest for accountability when it comes to issues of corruption. What it does rather is that it has burdened the public purse. And there's a need for us to begin to think around it and ask the critical questions. After all, it's
so you want to scrap?
5 years since the establishment.
You want to scrap?
Absolutely.
All right.
That is my position.
Dr. Zato.
Roland, I've sat here with you and I've exposed my theory of regime and post-regime accountability. You remember that, right?
Very well.
Very well. Everybody in the world knows. And I've sat here on TV and said that I will not sit here and try to defend anybody that is accused legitimately of sponsorship. I've said that. It's public knowledge. So it's not today I'm going to say, in fact, this SML case, I've debated it here on key points all over the place. I have never on any occasion said that I defend wrongdoing and that people who have done should go. I've never done that. It's on record. It's there. People have seen it. It's documented. In fact, I've had a discussion with what's his name, Manasseh here. I discussed with him here. In fact, after that, I don't know what I said. Manasseh actually contacted me. He wanted some publication documents I had and I shared that with him. I've never, and I will never defend. I've said that. So that's my record. People can easily Google it and say to me. But I'm making a point. Just imagine, sit back and think that there is a KPMG report that says that criminality has happened. 9 months or 10 months of investigation, why is it that the Attorney General has not charged anybody based on the KPMG report? If KPMG says there is criminality, why are those suspects still working?
You mean OSP or Attorney General?
I'm not talking about Attorney General. Because you came in. Yes, I'm making a point. The report was done under Akufo Addo, right? You came in, so you saw the report. Now, if the report said there was criminality with SML, why is it that the Attorney General or his deputy, that office?
But the OSP is taking already into the matter.
I'm making a point. If they have
so that we don't have a parallel.
I'm making a point.
Because the OSP in itself.
Is it possible for
I think he needs spec this.
No, please. No. Because the OSP also takes his,
I'm asking a question.
His powers from the AG. According to
can the AG call for that docket?
88.
Is it possible for the AG to say, give me the docket?
But that's what they did.
Good. So my point is that if they can call for their docket, why haven't they called for it? And why are they not?
I don't think that it is a simple answer.
Because I've seen something. I've seen the Iyoku call for the Cecilia Dapa docket from OSP. Haven't they done that? I've seen that. They have done that. So my point is that if they have requested, good. So if you request, so my point is that, so we are now being told that there's criminality, that this account. 9 months, 8 months ago, why are they not being charged? So that's what I present. Why are they not charged? Now I go to another point. Is it not true that somebody or GRA officially wrote to say that SML did the job and the payment was justified? Didn't they write to say that? So am I wrong to quote an official document? They did. The lawyers of GRA.
I guess the argument they're having is that you're quoting the document to inure to your benefit. And by those arguments you make, you seem to be supporting.
No. You see, there's a public document. Now we have two documents, even if you want to agree. That we have two documents, in fact, 3 documents. There's an OSP document that says that you've committed a crime. Then you are saying that if there's a KPMG too that says you've committed a crime. Then there is a document from GRM that says that you've not committed a crime. Now, which of these documents should we believe? Don't they raise reasonable doubts? If you put together all these 3 documents, don't they raise reasonable doubts?
About what?
About the fact that you said that their payment was not justified. GRA says it's justified.
But I have just told you that.
No, but even in the SM, even in the KPMG report.
Let him make his point.
Roland, you see, we don't have to misinform the public.
When it was your turn, I said... No, please.
No, when it was my turn, he came in.
No, please.
Roland, we should not allow him to misinform the public.
No, please. Let him make his point.
They were paid money for no job done.
No, please.
The letter exists.
Okay. So you are quoting.
I'm quoting
cogently from them.
Letter. I'm quoting
public documentation.
A legitimate public document.
Okay.
So long as nobody, no human being, has come to deny the legitimacy and the existence of that letter, I'm still quoting it. And that is a letter from, he also said, there's a popular Ghanaian saying that when whatever comes out of the water to say that you should believe it. This is coming from...
You say what popular Ghanaian from where? Ghanaian quote from where?
You know what I mean? When the crocodile comes out and say the fish, you should believe it. I don't believe it. There's a GRA, has, and people must understand. So my point is that now if you have 3 documents, even 4 documents, and even if 2, 3 of them said that the people have get in criminality, and then one of them says that the people have been engaged in criminality, then my question is that you can then sit back and say, wait a minute, wherein lies the truth? You can do that. But that doesn't negate the fact, and this is the point I want to make, that doesn't negate the fact that there are documents, official documents, saying that you've done the work. Another one saying you've not done the work. There are official documents that say that payment was justified. Another one saying payment not justified. Which one should we believe in? And those are very legitimate questions. Because see, in the fight against corruption, there's something that we often forget, and we must do this. On the first hand, we are saying that, where was the internal audit unit of the GRA when all this was happening? Where were they? Why is it that nobody in the OSP look at the internal audit unit?
The institutional
complicity.
That
is what has raised.
Yes. So, has anybody asked the internal audit? Has anybody looked at them?
So you agree with
Secondly,
so he agrees with
when this happened, and the OSP wrote the letter. So if the argument we are supposed to get is that the whole of the GRA, that whole institution, from top to down, was complex. complicit in covering up this crime, then as a country we have a serious problem. If that is the case, if that is true, so how come that the whole office is not shut down by now? No, I'm serious. I'm very serious with it. Because if you are insinuating institutional,
then it means that the NPP has to be.
Are you just postulating?
Then it means that the NPP has to be shut down as well.
There are two.
Indirectly, that's what he said. The NPP has to be shut down as well.
Arguing that whole office is complicit.
Then it means the NPP has to be shut down.
Listen, end for me. No, it's okay.
The head of the GRA,
no,
yes,
who was supposed to go on retirement.
If he's saying the GRA has to be shut down,
for more than
Roland,
2 years,
NPP has to be shut down too as well.
Allow him to make his point.
Authorizing him to still stay at post as GRA commissioner for more than 2 years. A man who was supposed to be on retirement. What would you expect from such leadership?
Yes.
Please, I have an interview with the roast minister, so I'll end this quickly so that we can have some time for him.
So,
I'm so disappointed this morning.
If the whole institution is complicit in SML, if the whole institution, we shouldn't sacrifice a few for the interest of the
Who are the few?
Who are the few? Hopeson Addo is a few.
So let's go deeper than this and let's root it.
But you do agree from all the inferences you've made that the gentleman, former finance minister, has big questions to answer.
What I want to state.
Back to your specific question.
Yes or no?
And I'm answering a specific question. If there is institutional capability in the GRA with regards to this particular question about
it's a direct question.
You don't tell me
was not a commissioner of GRA.
That whole institution of the GRA is not fit for purpose.
You answer that question.
It is true that these things really happen. And if it is true that today the GRA is at war with itself, one part of the GRA and another part doing this, then it means that the whole GRA of itself is not fit for purpose.
Right.
If you are in charge of raising revenue for us, and then you are saying that whole institution has engaged in such activity, they are not fit for purpose.
Just 2 minutes. No. End for me. Just 2 minutes for him. That's all.
Today, we've heard from Dr. Zato's own mouth suggesting that the GRA, having been complicit in this deal as well, should be shut down. So indirectly, what he's telling us today is that the new patriotic party, which has metamorphosed into Nana's People's Party, ought to be also be banned from all political activities in Ghana.
Yes. The biggest Nana people.
I am telling you. No, that is what he's telling us. That is what he's telling us.
To end. Dr. Zato, thank you very much. Dr. Zato, thank you very much. Dr. Zato, thank you very much.
It was Nana who fed me.
That is what is.
It was Nana who fed me.
Lawyer Suhini, thank you very much. Please put the mics off for me.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.